Hey Empire, today is Thursday, so you know what that means. It brings us into another week of football of this nice NFL season that we are having. How are you doing today? Thank y'all for stopping by. If you read the title, you already know what this is. Predictions. Predictions. This is week 11. Week 11, gotta drop predictions. We got so many great games happening this week. We are, if I remember correctly, we are 83 and 69. 83 and 69. So we're still above 500. Last week we went 9 and 5, so our predictions are doing pretty well. Feel free to drop in the comments how y'all predictions are going or how your team's doing this NFL season because we are 7 and 2. I say we because I've been with them my whole life, as far as I can remember. Since 02, 03. So we, Philadelphia Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. But, but, y'all not here to listen to me gloat. You're here to give my unknown predictions for this week 11 season, which gets started tonight or this past Thursday, depending on when you're watching it, with the Washington Commanders 7 and 3 taking on the Philadelphia Eagles for number 1 in the NFC East. I'm a homer. Y'all know where I'm leaning. Anderson the link coming off of 5 straight games of winning. Commanders coming off of a tough loss against Pittsburgh, 28-27. This is for number 1 of NFC East, sole possession of number 1. Philadelphia is going to take it. Philadelphia is going to take it. And it's not really much I can throw into that with all the weapons that you have. Jalen Hurts having this stretch ever since the bye week that he is having. The Washington Commanders are an amazing team. Do not get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing away from them. They are an amazing team. I just think Philly at home is just going to have their number right now. That defense is flying off the wall. Nobody want to give that defense credit. Nobody want to give the defense credit at all. But that defense is playing at an extremely high level. So with this Thursday night game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to take full possession of the number 1 spot in the NFC East, be their division leader, and continue on this win streak that they are having. Then we get into our Sunday games. Starting off, we got the Green Bay Packers at 6 and 3 taking on the 4 and 5 Chicago Bears in the NFC North divisional matchup. I don't know. They were talking about benching Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall draft pick. There is whispers of them benching Caleb Williams. That is crazy. Something is wrong with Chicago. I might put them in that. See, they had me fooled. They had me fooled the first couple weeks. They had me fooled. Not even gonna lie to you. I was actually sitting here expecting Chicago to do something, but I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if they are falling into that Carolina category to where they're just a depleted franchise. But I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to beat Chicago in Chicago. Green Bay owns Chicago. Jordan Love is going to own Caleb Williams going forward, at least in this near future, because something is wrong with Chicago. I don't know. And then they're going to stay put, because right now, if the playoffs were to end, they'd be facing Philly, because they're the number 7 seed, Philly number 2 seed, they'd be facing Philly in the playoffs. So if they win this game, they just got to keep going, keep that momentum going. They are going to be somewhat of a playoff team, unless something drastic happens and they fall off. That team is greatly ran, so I feel them going forward. Next, we have the 2 and 8 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the best team, in my opinion, in the NFL, in the Detroit Lions, sitting at 8 and 1. And with this prediction, I don't feel as though I want to go into much detail behind it. 8 and 1 Lions, even with throwing 5 interceptions last week, they still won the game. I don't expect them to throw 5 interceptions again. and they're going against the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars, who have not really shown too much going on in the season. So, Detroit Lions. I don't think y'all gonna fight me with that prediction. Next, we have the 7-2 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 2-7 Tennessee Titans. And take everything that I just said about the last matchup with the Detroit Lions and Jacksonville, copy that, and then just paste it in this one. 7-2 Minnesota, 2-7 Tennessee. Tennessee hadn't necessarily shown you anything. They lost to. Did they lose to the Patriots? I think they lost to the Patriots. Maybe they beat them. I don't know. Drawing a quick little blank, but that's how I see it. 7-2 Minnesota, obviously the better team. They don't really play down the competition. Hopefully they don't play down the competition. They want to keep pace with the 8-1 Detroit Lions. So I have them going into Tennessee, taking care of business. Next, we have the 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders taking on the 3-6 Miami Dolphins. And Miami showed me something last week, whereas Las Vegas has showed me nothing. Miami at least has offense with Tua Tagovailoa. Without Tua, they have no offense, and I can at least pick for them now. And that's which way I'm gonna lean. They're going to keep this win streak going. They beat. Who did they just beat? The Rams. They beat the Rams 23-15. So they just beat the Rams, which is a nice team. I feel like they can sneak into the playoffs given any type of circumstances. That NFC West is wide open. So I'm gonna go with Miami beating, and then that defense is flying. The front four is getting pressure. Jalen Ramsey is leading the secondary. I'm gonna go with Miami. Next, we have the 4-5 Los Angeles Rams taking on the 3-7 New England Patriots. And if you're a constant here, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna pick the Rams and just keep going. Patriots are on the do not bet list for the rest of the year, and it looks like every time I bet against them, they win. Every time I bet for them, they lose. So I just give up. I don't care about the Patriots. So I'm just gonna bet against them for the rest of these predictions. And I feel as though the Rams are the better team. So it's not like I'm just picking the Patriots, hating. The Rams are just the better team. So we're gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams. We have the Cleveland Browns taking on the New Orleans Saints. 2-7 taking on 3-7. I feel like Jameis is gonna have a revenge game against New Orleans. I feel like, and then Nick Chubb is set to have a breakout game. New Orleans is not a well put together team. In that last game, they did have offense that they generated consistently, but they still, almost doesn't count. Almost does not count. They did beat the division leading Atlanta Falcons, so I cannot take that away from them. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I do believe that Jameis Winston comes into New Orleans and beat his former team, have a breakout game, Nick Chubb, and they walk out New Orleans with a bitter victory. We have another great divisional game. We have the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens taking on the 7-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a highly anticipated game that is going to be hard hitting. If you know anything about the Ravens and Steelers rivalry, this is a match for the ages. You have Lamar, Russell Wilson, you have Tomlin, you have Harbaugh, you have the culture and history of these two franchises in this game, and you have number one in the AFC North on the line. This game you cannot call it, being completely honest. This is like a head flip, like a coin flip. But in my opinion, I am going to take Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, Big King Henry. Don't disrespect that man, because I don't want to bet against those two. I don't want to bet against Mike Tomlin either. But Lamar is the reigning MVP en route to win his third MVP. So I'm not gonna bet against him. If it's not Patrick Mahomes, I'm always gonna bet with Lamar. If it's not Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, I'm gonna always bet with Lamar. So I am not that Pittsburgh is not playing well. They are playing at an extremely high level. They just came off of a tough game against the Washington Commanders. So this game is going to be close, hard hitting. But I'm just going to give the edge to the Baltimore Ravens. Next, we have the 6-4 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 5-5 Denver Broncos. And I think this is the upset of the week, in my opinion. Broncos are performing better than most people are expected. So is the Atlanta Falcons. Probably more about where they think they're supposed to be. I do think that the Denver Broncos upset the Atlanta Falcons to get the victory and to go 6-5. Atlanta drops another one, and they're going to get back on track, but I just feel as though that defense of the Broncos is going to be a little bit too much for the discombobulated offense of the Atlanta Falcons. You have 4-5 Seattle Seahawks in another divisional game taking on the 5-4 San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with San Francisco. C-Mac is back. That offense looked completely different. The Seahawks have not been playing as like they were the first 3 weeks. So they're spiraling out a little bit. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. This by far has the chance to be the game of the week. Kansas City Chiefs undefeated 9-0, going into Buffalo at 8-2. This is set to be another matchup in the rivalry between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen for the ages. This is tough. This is tough because Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. So you know what? I'm gonna lean towards Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to get the dub here, which will give the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss. This is like a pick'em game. Like you can't go wrong with either one. But this is my prediction, so I gotta pick one. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I don't know if it'd be an upset if they win, because these are two of the top teams in the AFC and the NFL, respectfully. So I can't really. Now, if Kansas City win, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna sit here like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they won. It's gonna be more or less like, dang, I picked wrong. Because Patrick Mahomes can go undefeated this year. I wouldn't be surprised. But for pick prediction purposes, we're going to go with the Buffalo Bills. We have the 4-6 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 6-3 Los Angeles Chargers. And for the sole purpose of someone arguing me, Justin Herbert being better than just Jalen Hurts, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals because Joe Burrow is better than Justin Herbert. Straight like that. And I don't believe in the Chargers. Yeah. How you feel about that? Nah, I'm just playing. But I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals to get the dub in Los Angeles against the Chargers. And then we have a disappointing Sunday night game with the 4-6 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 3-7 New York Jets, two of the most disappointing teams coming into this, like at this point, because coming into this season, you had high expectations. Well, the media, the world had high expectations. A lot of people didn't. I think I did have high expectations for both of these teams. They are not lived up to that at all. Anthony Richardson was sat down, but I think that no, I'm just gonna go with the Colts. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. That offense has a lot of talent. Aaron Rodgers can't get it to him. He's just inconsistent. It's the bright light, so he might perform. But I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. And then for our Monday night game, the Battle of Texas, the Tassel in Texas, we have the 6-4 Houston Texans taking on the 3-6 Dallas Cowboys. And short, sweet, to the point, Cooper Rush is the quarterback. He threw 23 passes and had 45 yards of total passing yards. The Texans, DeMeco Ryans and the Texans got to get back on track at some point. And this is going to be the game to get them back on track. Dallas is falling. They're blaming the coach. They're pointing fingers at each other. They aren't playing cohesive. They're blaming a whole lot of stuff. I love players like CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons. Those are great players. They can show up, but without Dak, they don't really have a chance. Without pass rush, without a secondary, without a run game, without stopping the run, they're not going to really have a chance. So we're going to go with the Houston Texans. And there you have it, unknown predicts for week 11. We're going to run down these teams one more time. We have the winners. These are my predictions for the winners coming out of week 11. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. We have Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Denver Broncos, San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati. We have the Indianapolis Colts, and we have the Houston Texans over their respective opponents this week. And my predictions are my top 3 games to watch going into week 11 is going to be the Washington versus Philly game, because that's for the number 1 seed in the NFC East. The Pittsburgh game versus the Baltimore Ravens, that's the number 1 in the AFC East, and these teams have great records. And then obviously the Kansas City Chiefs game versus the Buffalo Bills, 9-0 versus 8-2. All 3 of these games have big playoff implications going forward. So those are my top 3 games going into week 11, and my top 5 teams going into week 11, with number 5 being the Buffalo Bills, number 4 being the Baltimore Ravens, number 3 being the Philadelphia Eagles, number 2 being the Kansas City Chiefs, and number 1 being the Detroit Lions. I do appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out any other videos while you're here. Y'all have a blessed one.